I wasn't ready to be who you needed. I know that now. I think I knew it then too, but I didn't have the language for it. Or maybe I had the language and just couldn't say it out loud. Maybe that's worse. You used to wake up before me, always. Even on weekends when there was nowhere to be, you'd be up by 7, moving quietly through the apartment like you were trying not to disturb something fragile. I'd hear the coffee machine, the cabinet door, your footsteps in the hallway, soft and careful. I'd lie there with my eyes closed, pretending to sleep, listening to you exist without me. Sometimes you'd come back to the bedroom and stand in the doorway. I could feel you there, watching. I never opened my eyes. I don't know what you were looking for. I don't know what you saw. You leave after a minute, maybe 2. The door would close so gently it barely made a sound. I keep thinking about that trip we planned to the coast. We'd been talking about it for months. You'd saved all these articles about tide pools and hiking trails and a restaurant that served breakfast all day. You had a folder on your phone. You showed it to me one night while we were brushing our teeth, scrolling through photos of cliffs and lighthouses, your face lit up by the screen. You asked which weekend worked for me. I said I'd check my calendar. I never checked. You brought it up again 2 weeks later. Then again a month after that. Each time your voice got a little quieter, a little more careful, like you were testing the weight of something before setting it down. I said we should wait for better weather. It was July. You stopped bringing it up after that. You deleted the folder, I think. I never saw it again. But sometimes I did catch you looking at your phone with this expression I couldn't read, something between disappointment and resignation, like you'd just remember something you've been trying to forget. I should have just said I didn't want to go. But that would have required me to understand why I didn't want to go, and I didn't. Or I did, and I couldn't admit it. I couldn't admit that the idea of being trapped in a car with you for 4 hours, of sharing a small room, of having nowhere to hide from your hope, it terrified me. Not because of you, because of me. Because I knew I'd disappoint you in some quiet, irreversible way, and I didn't know how to tell you I was already disappointing myself. You have this thing you did with your hands when you were nervous. You'd press your thumb into your palm, right in the center, and hold it there, like you were trying to feel your own pulse, or maybe trying to stop it. I noticed it the first time we had dinner at your parents' house. You did it under the table while your mother asked about my job, my family, my plans. I reached for your hand and you startled. You smiled at me like I caught you doing something wrong. I held your hand through the rest of dinner, but I felt the tension in your fingers, the way you couldn't quite relax into it. I remember thinking I should ask you about it later. I remember deciding not to. I saw you do it again a few weeks before you left. We were sitting on the couch, not talking, watching something neither of us cared about. I looked over and there it was. Your thumb pressed into your palm, your jaw tight, your eyes fixed on the television like you were trying to disappear into it. I didn't reach for your hand that time. I turned back to the screen and pretended I hadn't seen. There was a morning in September early, before the sun was fully up, when I woke to find you already dressed, sitting on the edge of the bed with your back to me. You were so still. I thought maybe you were meditating or praying or doing one of those breathing exercises you'd read about. But then I saw your shoulders, the way they were curved inward, the way you were holding yourself like you were trying to take up less space. I should have said something. I should have asked if you were okay. Instead, I closed my eyes and evened out my breathing and let you think I was still asleep. I heard you stand. I heard you leave the room. I heard the front door open and close. You came back an hour later with groceries. Eggs, bread, orange juice, things we didn't need. You put them away quietly, methodically, like you were performing a ritual you'd done 1,000 times. You made breakfast. I came out of the bedroom and you smiled at me, and it was the kind of smile that doesn't reach anywhere else, the kind that makes you look more tired than if you hadn't smiled at all. I said, you didn't have to do all this. You said, I know. We ate in silence. The eggs were perfect. You always made them perfectly soft and buttery, with just enough salt. I told you that once, years ago, and you never forgot. You never overcooked them. You never skipped the butter. I didn't say thank you that morning. I just ate and checked my phone and let the quiet stretch between us until it felt like something solid, something neither of us knew how to move around. I've been thinking about the way you used to look at me. Not in the beginning, when everything was easy and light and full of possibility. I mean later. After the newness wore off and we settled into the shape of us. You'd look at me sometimes with this expression I couldn't name, something patient and sad and hopeful all at once, like you were waiting for me to turn into someone I wasn't. Or maybe you were waiting for me to turn into someone I was too afraid to be. I don't know. I just know I couldn't hold your gaze when you looked at me like that. I'd glance away, change the subject, get up to get water or check the mail or do anything that meant I didn't have to see whatever it was you were trying to tell me without words. You stopped looking at me like that eventually. I noticed when it stopped, even though I spent so much energy pretending not to notice when it was happening. The absence was louder than the presence ever was. There's a photograph of us from that summer. We're at your friend's wedding, standing under one of those string-like canopies that make everything look softer than it is. You're laughing at something someone said off camera. I'm looking at you. Your sister sent it to me months later, after you'd already moved out. She said she thought I'd want it. I don't know if I wanted it. I looked at it for a long time though. At the way your face is open and unguarded, the way my face is closed and careful, even in a moment of supposed happiness. At the space between us, not much, just a few inches, but visible, measurable. I'm smiling in the photo, but I remember what I was thinking when it was taken. I was thinking about how many more hours until we could leave. I was thinking about how your friend's husband held her while they danced, how he looked at her like she was the only person in the room, how you watched them with this wistful expression that made me feel like I was failing a test I didn't know I was taking. I was thinking about how tired I was of pretending to be someone I couldn't sustain. You asked me once if I was happy. It was late, almost midnight. We were in bed, in the dark, and your voice came out of nowhere, quiet and careful. Are you happy? I didn't answer right away. I felt you waiting. I felt the shape of the question, the weight of it. The way it wasn't really about happiness at all. I said, I think so. You were quiet for a long time after that. Then you said, okay. You turned over, away from me, and I lay there staring at the ceiling, hating myself for the cowardice of, I think so, for the way I couldn't even give you a clean yes or an honest no. I wanted to reach for you. I wanted to say something that would undo the distance I'd just created. But I didn't know what that something was, and I was afraid that trying and failing would be worse than not trying at all. So I just lay there. And eventually I fell asleep. And in the morning, we didn't talk about it. We never talked about it. I remember the day you told me you were leaving. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a fight. You didn't cry or raise your voice or throw things or demand explanations. You just said it. We were in the kitchen. You were washing dishes. I was putting away groceries. The afternoon light was coming through the window at that angle that makes everything look like a memory even while it is happening. You said, I think I need to move out. Your hands were still in the water. You weren't looking at me. I stopped with a can of tomatoes in my hand, frozen. Like, if I didn't move, time wouldn't move either. I said, okay. That's all I said. Okay. You nodded, still not looking at me, and went back to washing the dishes. I put the tomatoes in the cabinet and walked out of the room. I think about that moment all the time now. How easy it would have been to say something. How simple it would have been to turn around, to walk back into the kitchen, to say, wait, can we talk about this? Can we try? But I didn't. I went into the bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the wall and felt something inside me collapse that I didn't know how to hold up. You left 3 weeks later. You were kind about it. You packed slowly, methodically. You asked if I wanted to keep certain things, the blue mugs, the blanket from your grandmother, the lamp we bought together at that estate sale. I said you should take whatever you wanted. You took almost nothing. I wasn't ready to be who you needed. I know that's not fair to say now after everything. I know it sounds like an excuse. Maybe it is, but it's also true. You needed someone who could meet you where you were. Someone who could be vulnerable without feeling like they were losing something. Someone who could plan a trip to the coast and actually go. Someone who could wake up and say, "I'm not okay," instead of pretending to sleep. Someone who could answer, "Are you happy?" with something more honest than, "I think so." I wasn't that person. I don't know if I'll ever be. Sometimes, I imagine what it would have been like if I'd said yes to the coast. If we'd gone in the car that Saturday morning and driven 4 hours with the windows down, and your playlist shuffling through songs I pretended not to like but secretly memorized. If we'd checked into that small hotel with the blue shutters and walked down to the tide pools and stood there together, watching the water recede and return, recede and return. If I let you take my hand without thinking about what it meant. If I let myself be happy without questioning whether I deserved it, maybe nothing would have changed. Maybe we'd still be here, you in a different apartment, me writing letters I'll never send. Or maybe everything would have changed. Maybe I would have learned how to be the person standing next to you instead of the person standing slightly behind. Always one step removed, always ready to run. I don't know, I'll never know. Your toothbrush is still in the bathroom. The blue one, in the cup next to mine. I should throw it away. I know I should. It's been sitting there for 6 months untouched, a small monument to my inability to let go of things that are already gone. But I can't, not yet, maybe not ever. I wasn't ready to be who you needed. I'm sorry I couldn't just say that while you were here. I'm sorry I let you leave thinking it was something you did wrong, when the truth is you did everything right and I still couldn't meet you there. I'm sorry for the trip we never took, for the mornings I pretended to sleep, for the question I couldn't answer honestly, for the cowardice of okay. I'm sorry I loved you the best I could and it wasn't enough. I'm sorry I still don't know how to be better. I hope you're happy now, I mean that. I hope you're with someone who says yes to the coast and means it. Someone who doesn't flinch when you look at them with hope. Someone who knows how to hold your hand under the table and mean it all the way through. I hope you wake up in the mornings and feel seen. I hope you've stopped pressing your thumb into your palm when you're nervous. I hope you've forgotten the sound of the door closing gently behind you. I'm still here. In the apartment with your toothbrush and the blanket I said you could take, and the space where you used to stand in the doorway, watching me pretend to sleep. I'm still here, and you're not. And that's exactly how it should be. I'm just sorry it took me this long to understand why.